Hey, this is Mr. Dodge, and we're getting ready to do our next Boyd Hill video. This is our second one in our reptile series. It's on turtles. And today we're going to see a box turtle and a gopher tortoise and some lake turtles that are very cool. A musk turtle that emits a bad smell so nothing will eat it. And also is feisty. He likes to bite. They're not as slow as you think, as you'll see in the video. And Amy, the park ranger, is going to show us all about it. So come on.
Hi, I'm Amy DePalma, and I'm a ranger here at Boyd Hill. And with me today, I have two of our permanent residents. These are Florida box turtles. The reason why we have these turtles is they were actually rehomed from a hoarding situation. So a man was breeding them and had hundreds of turtles at his house, which is illegal. You're not allowed to do that. So we adopted 9 of the females here. We're down to 6. They've been here since the early 90s. Nice. But that's why, if you can see here, this one has a drill hole there on the top, and so does this one, and that's to mark that they are ours. So if these guys ever got out, we would know that they belong in our turtle pen behind me, and not out in the wild over there.
Quick question. The drill, it doesn't hurt them at all to drill in their shell?
No, because the top shell is a carapace, and this is pretty much the same material as our fingernails. So it would be like kind of filing down your fingernails. I think so. A great way to tell them that they are box turtles is their color. So you'll see they have 2 different colors here, but they have this kind of yellow stripe pattern, and they are more of a brown or a black background. These guys, even though they're called turtles, and most people think of turtles as being in the water, they are more upland turtles. So they hang out more in the pine flatwoods area. That's why behind me in their pen they have a lot of pine needles. They love to bury underneath there. And they love the rain. So that's the best time to find them, is right after it's raining. Go out for a walk in our uplands habitat and keep an eye out for box turtles. Here. So if you were to flip over any other turtle, you would not see this right here. And this is a hinge. So just like our door has a hinge to open and close it, these turtles have hinges here. So if this turtle was threatened, like a predator, like a raccoon or other animals were to come and try to attack it, she would go down into her shell, and this part of the turtle shell is called a plastron, and the plastron would seal up to the carapace, which is the top shell.
Like a drawbridge. Like
a drawbridge. So that way, all of this nice fleshy soft tissue would be protected by the hard shell. But if you were to find one in the wild, or you wanted to look at it, most likely it would seal up like a box. And that's how they got their name, the Florida box turtle, which they are a subspecies of the eastern box turtle that you can find in the eastern part of the United States.
He can retract his legs as well?
Yep, so both sides. So it would be a completely sealed box. Let's see if she'll close a little bit here. So you can kind of see.
Oh yeah.
Now, like I said, she's a little chunky, so you can see her fat here, but this plastron would close all the way to the top of the carapace.
Yeah, so the shell is kind of like a pair of pants for the rest of us who've been sitting inside eating food during the viral time.
Yeah, but what's really neat, and people don't realize when they think of shells, they think of seashells, that crabs or other critters will go, and as they grow, they'll move on to a bigger shell. These shells grow with the turtles. So if you see right here, this yellow stripe that goes down her back, on the other side of this is her spinal cord. So this shell grows with her. So if you injure the top part of the shell, it can kill the turtles themselves. So when they hatch out of their egg, she will be about the size of a $50, and then it grows with it. So it's formed fully, and then it just grows like we grow, and we stretch. That's how they stretch.
I was almost thinking that more of those sections were added as it grew, but it looks like that from the get-go.
Yeah.
It just grows. Okay.
Yeah, just smaller, and when they do hatch, their shell is a lot softer to allow it for it to grow. So when they are young, they have a lot of predators because it's really easy to eat a soft shell. There's not as much protection as when they're adults. This is an adult turtle, so this is like about full size that you would. Kind of to point out too, and how I know that she belongs on the land and not in the water, is if you look at her feet.
Oh, I would love to see this. Okay, yeah.
So if you see her feet, you'll notice they kind of look like more claw-like, and then you'll see her back foot. They're more claws.
Instead of seeing all that webbing?
Than the webbing. So that's how you know, and it's a good indicator if you do find a turtle or a tortoise and you really don't know where it's supposed to be. Look at their feet. But turtles do spend a lot of time on land themselves, especially right now in this time of year. You have your female soft-shell turtles and other females coming out of the water to lay their eggs. So if you see them out there, it's okay. The only time you should really be messing with these guys if you see them in the middle of the road. Get an adult and you can kind of coax them across the road in the direction that they're facing.
Eat my dust, baby!
First, this is a common musk turtle. So they're called musk turtles, or also known as stink pots, because when they are threatened, they'll let out this scent that smells really bad.
Wow.
And that's because they're a tiny turtle. This is full grown. And so some things usually don't want to eat things that are stinky, right? So they will let out a musk. But unlike the box turtles, you'll see there's no hinge in her plastron there on that bottom. But you'll see it's still flat down here, so that's how I know it is a female. But if you look, so she's a little chunky. She lives in our little aquarium over there. But if you look at her back feet, I'm gonna be careful. This one's feisty. This one's feisty.
Like to bite.
Yeah.
She's already got bit once.
You'll see those toes. In between those toes, there's webbing there, unlike our box turtle, and that is to show so she could swim. So they're really good swimmers, but you'll find them on the bottom of the lake bed, so in that mud, that mucky soil, and they'll walk along the bottom, or they'll swim. But yeah, so this is a common musk turtle, or also known as a stink pot.
Really showing us the webbing right now with the with the forepaws actually all stretched out.
These gopher tortoises, they get to be about the size of a dinner plate. Now this female here is really big and a lot bigger than what you would normally find around here. So she, like I said, they get to be about the size of a dinner plate, so big tortoises, and they look like they have elephant feet, so looks a lot different than the aquatic turtles or even your box turtle. But what they do is they burrow down into the ground, which is really cool. So these burrows, where they're digging here, can be up to 5 feet underground. So that's pretty much like this, but underground. They also can be up to 30 feet long, and they kind of look like your classroom hallways. So it's a really long tunnel with little like classroom-like things off the side, or little turnaround areas, because if you see, she fits perfectly in that burrow. There's not a lot of room on either side of her, so she has to have little turnaround areas so she can turn around and come back up, or she'd have to back out all the way.
Wow.
But what you see, if you see any hole in the ground, that is called the mouth. So that is the mouth of the burrow, is the actual hole itself. And then over here, this sandy area is the apron. So just to put in reference on how big this tunnel or burrow really is, this is all the sand that came out of the burrow that she dug. So very deep. But the best thing, or you have to really be careful about these aprons, especially this time of year. This is where she lays her eggs. So you never want to walk on this apron or directly behind that burrow, because you can fall into it and then you can collapse the burrow. But gopher tortoises are known as a keystone species because other animals will actually use their burrows. So again, they are protected, so you can't do any of this. You can't put your hand in there looking for a tortoise, or even mess with the burrow itself or the tortoise, even if it's out roaming and feeding. But you have to be careful because, or when people are studying them, because you can find things like diamondback rattlesnakes in there. You can find different mice, voles, a bunch of different animals will go down into their burrow and will hide, whether it's from a storm or if we get a wildfire.
Even while it's living there also?
Yes.
So it shares it?
It will share it with other animals, but not other tortoises. They will defend their burrows. But yes, you can find different animals hiding in gopher tortoise burrows.
Oh wow! And so say an eastern diamondback rattlesnake gets in there. It does not provoke the turtle, and the turtle doesn't provoke it.
Nope, they just kind of hang out in there together. There's no competition. So the tortoise isn't going to eat the snake, and the snake's not going to eat the tortoise, especially a full-grown tortoise like that.
What is the tortoise going to eat?
So they eat grasses, flowers, and low-hanging fruit. So if you look at tortoise scat, it just looks like a bunch of clumped grass together, because that's what they're picking on. They're picking on all of this vegetation around the burrow.
Oh, okay. So therefore there is no competition. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Now, we just got on top of one of our gopher tortoises. This is a different, I'm forgetting what it was called again, the burrow?
Burrow, yep.
This is a different burrow and an apron, and she's sitting, she or he is sitting on the apron right now, and the mouth is right behind her in the grass of her burrow, but she's just right here.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can get that elephant foot, just so we can kind of see it.
If you see something weird on her back, that is a radio transmitter. So we're working with Eckerd College and also a local herpetologist, and they're actually doing studies of these tortoises because there's very few places that still have gopher tortoises. They should be all throughout Pinellas County, but only there's selected places like here and Weeden Island and some other places that actually have gopher tortoises living there. So there's a lot of research that needs to be done about them with genetics, how far do they travel, and a ton of different questions.